The Mandalorian Season 2 is the latest show to hit Disney+, and I have to say latest now because there are a lot of new Star Wars shows coming within the future. So today I'm going to review this second season, chapter by chapter, in a similar style in which I reviewed the first season. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Chapter 1 of the new season is the longest episode in Season 2 by far. So, with that, I think there is a lot that is covered, and it makes for a really exciting return to the Mandalorian series in general. I mean, technically, it's a pretty typical styled filler Mandalorian episode. However, it's still done in a very well-executed way. You got this new character to love, and you just got a pretty thrilling, high-stakes kind of action thing. This would be maybe slightly average if it was released in the first season, I think, but nonetheless it works as a really good start for the second season, even if it didn't achieve much for the main story. Second episode, now let's talk about filler. This one is complete filler for sure. Probably my least favorite episode in Season 2. I really can't find any single person who liked Frog Lady's character. And, you know, usually the filler of The Mandalorian is supposed to be pretty good, but I just feel like the story is just really, really bad in this episode. The way that you have the rebels in the X-Wing cause Mandalorian to crash, but then they come back out of nowhere at the end to tell him, never mind, you're fine, you could just go. It's just really lame, and the whole Baby Yoda eating the eggs thing, I know that caused controversy. I don't really care much about that, but in general, I just thought it was stupid. Baby Yoda probably got more screen time that episode than he did any other episode, and it was shows that Baby Yoda really isn't there just other than to be cute, right? I did find the spider creature-like part pretty cool. I mean, honestly, that was like the whole episode. It was just that, which, fine, whatever. Still cool atmospheres and stuff, cool visuals, of course, so all the episodes do have that, so hey, there you go. All right, now we want to say the story's starting to unfold pretty cool. We have Bo-Katan in the third episode, the first big character that people were waiting to arrive. Now, her introduction I found a little weak. I mean, they do the typical, you know, she's going to walk away, we're never going to see her again. But then, oh no, she shows up in the very next scene, and yay, now she is going to stick around. It's a kind of cliche thing, and they didn't really execute the cliche all too well, but that's fine. Nonetheless, I think the story was pretty okay. Obviously, just another side quest that Mando has to take on that has little to do with anything until it happens to actually have to do with Moff Gideon, which is kind of a coincidence, but at least it contributes to something there, right? And I do think that Bo-Katan's portrayal in live action was done pretty well. I like that, yeah. Fourth episode, now we bring back some older characters. This is pretty similar to the previous episode in which they just do another take down the Empire based thing, and then, you know, you get some connection to Moff Gideon and the real bad guys of the show. But I think that the action in this episode was actually done a little better than the previous one for sure. And you even get some more ship action than we've ever previously seen in The Mandalorian. So I think it was just a cool episode to have, sure. Nothing really wrong with it. Episode 5, now this is the one that a lot of people were waiting for, the big Ahsoka reveal. I think there's definitely a lot of hype going around Ahsoka, so the standards were pretty high on how she would be portrayed in live action. I thought it was okay. I was hoping for a little more, maybe a bit of a more faithful character adaptation, because I don't feel like she acted as much as she did in the cartoon shows that Ahsoka was previously in as she did in the live action, but what do you expect? Nonetheless, it was cool to see, and the action in this episode was also pretty good. Somewhat different style than the previous episodes, so I appreciate them trying to vary up their style. Vary up, sure. Not only this, but the episode adds more lore to Baby Yoda, now called, spoiler alert, Grogu. Do I have to say spoiler alert at this point? But that was just cool to see. I mean, it's a little odd how Ahsoka says this baby should not be trained, it's too late, but if you find another Jedi, you could let that Jedi train him. But nonetheless, that's the unfolding story, so that makes us carry on into... Now, the sixth episode is pretty short. We finally have the big arrival of Boba Fett. Pretty hyped up. I was glad to see that they were actually going to use his character, and then Mando getting his armor did actually play some relevance later on at this point. And then finally seeing Boba Fett in action was pretty satisfying, pretty cool. And this whole episode is really just one big fight scene that takes place on a hill. But, I mean, as long as the action is done well, then it's good, right? And I think it was decent. It was just like a big shootout, kind of. And nonetheless, this did move the plot forward in multiple directions, so it's important that you have this episode, so there you go. The 7th episode, honestly, might be my favorite among all of the episodes in this season. That's because I just feel like it had the most clear direction compared to any of the other ones. We have some actual character development given to Mando, and a pretty engaging story that you could call it filler, but it's not really filler, because it actually does tie into the actual plot, what Mando is trying to achieve, unlike a majority of the episodes. And on top of this, they still smoothly integrate a bunch of very well done action, and really it just all comes together pretty neatly. This is the quality I was hoping for in pretty much all of the episodes, and this one really nailed it down, I think. Now we come to the final episode. Very breathtaking stuff here. It's pretty intense. So this episode did pretty much exactly what I think most of us would have been expecting. It's the big rescue for Grogu. And it's good that we get a little more out of Bo-Katan. And I think using Bo-Katan, they did what they did in the season finale for the first season, where not only do they basically conclude everything from before, but then also directly set up the next season. And that comes from Mando getting the Darksaber, right? But nonetheless, I think it was pretty cool to finally see Moff Gideon do something, right? And the action all around here was pretty good. And of course, the big arrival of Luke Skywalker. Honestly, I didn't find it that surprising. I said this episode was generically predictable, but it was still pretty satisfying nonetheless. I will admit the very first moment that I see Luke's face, I figured, oh great, he looks horrible, because whatever they tried with the CGI or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, very sad moment at the end. He takes away Grogu, and then Mando takes off his helmet and stuff because of the character development that was established in the previous episode. And then you even get a bonus after credit scene that sets up the book of Boba Fett, because whatever that might be. Do we know for sure if that's another show series coming? And if so, then my god, they have a lot of show series on the way. But yeah, pretty good. Pretty great finale, actually. I really did like this. So yeah, there you go. There's my overall review of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. I think what most people were worried about was how they would shove in all of the characters that they said they were going to shove in, like Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, all of them. And I think for the most part, they actually did a really good job. It wasn't just like a small cameo like some people were afraid of, but rather their characters actually interacted very well with The Mandalorian, and really helps tackle a whole bunch in the Star Wars universe that this single show is bringing together. But even while doing that, they're still carrying through with the actual plot of The Mandalorian, and have done pretty much everything I could say I would have hoped they did. So overall, awesome stuff. Can't wait for Season 3, and I'd really love to hear what you guys all thought of this season down in the comments below. That all being said, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for lots more videos coming real soon. Bye-bye.